Okay, I played knight f3 as well against this guy. So he plays the c5 move, which is considered by me one of the strongest replies. The problem here is that sometimes these guys play for d6, e5 very early, and as you saw in my comments earlier, this can be dangerous now. Oh, he's tricking me. If I play bishop b2 now, he plays e5. And some people play this stuff. It's dangerous. Because the bishop is getting completely killed on this diagonal. So I cannot play this one either, because it takes. So here I gotta play very concrete chess with e3. Oh, okay. So I was just reading a comment from Comet. We'll come back to this one later. So this guy plays for the V-shape formation against the setup here. Is a very good idea. And I had this one little idea. On top level, people experiment with bishop b5 check, and I was like, knight c3. Maybe I played on this move already. The point is, I want to play d4, but if I play d4 immediately, they take, and play e4. That's the problem. So I play knight c3, which looks really weird, blocking the c-pawn. You're like, this can this really work? But it has the point of controlling the e4 square. So my idea is, for example, knight c6, bishop e7, f5, any of those moves. I want to play d4, takes, control the square. Yes, I mentioned that f5 also is an option here, and I still want to play d4. Knight c6, small inaccuracy. Knight f6 is the only move that is good in this position, believe it or not, because d4 takes e4 is an option. So knight c6 is not as good because it allows d4. And now, if he is not a connoisseur, is this the right expression? If he is not very familiar with the Benoni, with d5, he might have to take on d4 right now. And I'm not sure this is to his liking. Oh, you posted the game. Maybe you can look at this game after this one. So I'm not sure. I might be taking on e5 next or play d5. If I take e5 and exchange stuff, I can play bishop c4 and control light squares. That's very pleasant for me. But d5, I tell you one thing, computers always love these d5 moves. They always love the advanced pawns, and they completely go crazy with them, like +1 already. Like, give them a pawn on d5 in the King's Indian, Benonis. Always love it. Queen a5. I'm not thinking about it, but I was not convinced. Point is, I think I can just play bishop d2. So if d5 doesn't work, queen takes c3, bishop d2, queen b2, and there is nothing. Rook b1, you can play queen to a3, for example. Just I'm not trapping anything. Okay, is there anything else? Queen d2, for example, but I mean, that looks like a super pussy move. So I gotta play bishop d2. There's not much calculation here. Oh, rook b1. Oh, you are such a trickster. Problem is he takes d4 probably. Yeah, he takes d4 several times, and there might be a problem. But my friend's idea here was to play rook b1, takes, and then bishop d2, trapping the queen. Though he said A, he has to say B. He has to take on d4 now. I suppose. Or I guess. I don't know which wasn't the right word here. Knight f6. Jeez. I wish he would just show me what he's got here. Knight b5 or knight d5 are both options. Knight b5, queen d8. I have to calculate. Can also take d5, push to d5, but I'm not greatest fan of these structures. Yet computers always love them. Maybe I'm just incompetent in winning those structures, which might be possible. If their knight jump is too early. Okay, knight b5, queen d8, and knight d5, queen d8. Or taking on e5, pawn takes e5, knight to d5, queen d8. No, like I'm looking at this stuff, and knight is hanging, so takes. I don't see an advantage, so I suppose I gotta play this move. Say, if you really want to play Benoni, let's go. Let's play this Benoni. If I play e4, I can take it. If it goes like knight a3, knight b4, which I calculated, a3. If he takes. Queen is hanging. So I saw this one. I should look at this guy. Knight b5, he has queen d8, unfortunately. And the check here, he has bishop d7, which gets rid of a piece. Light square bishop, which is not great usually. Also knight e4, queen d8. Piece, but bishop c4, knight g4. Yeah, they're tactical stuff. Okay, knight e4, queen d8. Takes here, takes. And he's probably compensation. I don't want it. I want to squeeze the guy. I could go for this knight e4, knight takes on f6, and he has, like in the Sicilian, there's this Kalashnikov variation. Yes, similar structure where you play e4 and he plays f5, and it's like, I play the structure. What are you gonna do about it? Push f5. So I don't have a good knight jump right now, I guess. He wants to play bishop g4. Alright. Oh, shut up! Don't write so many moves. Let me think. Ah, Jesus Christ. Bishop e3, bishop g4. He has a space disadvantage. He wants to exchange pieces. I don't want to exchange pieces, so I play h3. What are you writing about? He wants to play this. And waiting for its capture and then bishop d2. That's what my friend played. That's why you are 2200, bro. What about d5? But Nicola, in your variation, if you want to play a4 taking on c3, bishop d2, queen to b2, you're gonna play bishop c3 because you don't control the square, right? I'm not sure how I'm handling this position right now. There could be some tactical trick which I missed for white. Okay, of course b5 is not working for him because of knight takes b5, but knight g6 And his idea is to play knight f4. That's something I don't want. Yes. Knight g6. Why is he thinking about this? He cannot play b5. He might play queen d8 or something. Is he actually calculating, considering to play g6? Okay, g6, I can say that doesn't make much sense right now. Like, those pieces don't harmonize with each other. You play g6, question is where you put your knight from e7. Except if he wants to play bishop g7 castle short, moving the knight in f5, and he says like, playing this like a king's Indian is an option. Yeah, you guys are all trolling in the chat. You're not like, this is a good option, and I would play like that. You're like, sack the knight, play bishop c1, bro. That's how you are acting right now. I don't get it. What's he thinking about? Knight g6, right? Like, I'm... Ah, yes, you're talking about this one story of the what is it, 1600 even? Or 1500 or something? And you're saying, I think this one is a good idea because of this pin. You cannot play that. And the guy was seriously looking into the position for like 2 minutes. It was an analysis. And was like, what about this move? And you just showed the exact move which we should show that it doesn't work because of the pin. So okay, knight g6. I cannot develop the bishop because of knight g4. Knight f4. I gotta play f3, g3. That's just how it is. So bishop e7. Then I have to harmonize with the rest of my pieces and get a structure going of either h4, which with a knight on g6, there's this little rule. Knight g6, you play h4. There were 3 options: bishop g2, h4, and a4. And I gotta decide on one of them. To be honest, I play a4, and rather quickly actually as well. And my point is, I want to move either h4 and bishop g2, but I don't want to allow b5. In the moment I move the bishop to g2, he can play b5 because knight takes b5 isn't possible anymore. So h4. The rule of thumb here is if there's a knight on g6, you push h4 and then you push h5. And here it's a very nice idea, pushing this one, knight here, and then bishop h3, fighting for the light squares. And then you move like knight h5, knight h4, knight f5. That would be very nice. If I play bishop g2, he plays b5. I cannot take here, but queen can take. That is the problem, because that's why I play a4 first. So now he cannot play this. I expected this move. I was not 100% sure how to face it. Either bishop a3 or bishop e2. Bishop a3. He might play bishop h5. Okay, can I play h5 for some crazy reason? No. So it is bishop here. Should work. I don't think queen b4 works for him. Like going for the e4 pawn is too much, I think. But now the question is, what's my next move? I think my next move is either h5, which might sack something, or it is knight g5 or knight e1, knight g1, or even knight h2. And I'm not sure which one I go for. Okay, now h5, he takes the knight. That's not good enough. No, that's not good enough. And if I go like knight h2, takes. Okay, or is there something else here? No, I play it like this. Exchange the bishops. So I remain with the bishop, the better bishop, and he should exchange, because otherwise I just push, and then he has nothing. Because like bishop d7, I push. Yes, I push. Now can play the same idea, but this time I can place a knight on h4 and fight for the square. Okay, maybe it's not good enough, because again, I'm not 100% sure it's good enough. Okay, I need to trick the guy. I need to trick him somehow. Okay, I go for this one. I'm calculating some stuff, but like if it takes here, I can eventually go knight b5 and queen b6, a5. Like, of course I gotta recapture first here. Oh, that was a good move. Oh, that was a good move. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. The alternative would be to play f4. Yes, f4. You would play f4. Yeah, screw you. I don't play f4 here. f4 takes bishop f6. That's what I calculate. Yeah, shut up. Shut up. I don't play like that. Oh, I don't play like the position demands it. I play this move. And I wish this was not a check, so knight e7 would be mate. Unfortunately, it's check on d2. Otherwise, it would be a very nice mate. Here, my positional trump is that the knights are really badly placed. Yeah, gotta take because it's check, unfortunately. And that's what I play for. But not gonna lie, this advantage can evaporate. Be lost. Basically something like that. What? Can I take this pawn? What? Can I just take the pawn, right? Can this check, he goes here. Or I can play f4. He takes here. Take here. Goes back, takes here. I don't get it. Do you get it? Is there a trick? Is it just I take the pawn? Okay. Maybe I just blunder in one move, but I don't see it. F4 was also... Oh, F4, he has knight takes E4 maybe? No, he has knight F97, so it's not working out anyway. This is just... Fair point. Fair point. So I think it's F4 time. I need to be careful with time here. So I think it's E5 time. And I just want to play like this before knight to E4 and potentially rook G1. If I play this one, he gets the G5 square, but I could maybe take him. Maybe sack. But don't sack if you don't have to, of course. No, if you play rook G1, he plays B4. Dude, I see those moves. You don't have to tell me, like, rook G1. Yes, I want to play this move. I don't want to allow him to play B4 and misplace my knight. Doesn't run away, this move. Yeah, it's funny that they have 0 squares. So what is this move about? Could play A5 or... Okay, I will close the position. Maybe I need to castle long. Okay, 94. Protecting this guy. Potentially attacking this guy. So I'm prepared for castling. Yes, A5 is hanging then, and I don't want to give up the pawn. So this makes sense. Castling long, he plays like B4 and gets the pawn. This would mean I play rook G1 first. F5. Yes. There's a logical move here. He wants to play knight F7. And I don't have a trick, right? Can take, knight takes. No. I gotta play this smarter. Maybe knight G3 was better. Knight F7 I could take here. Yeah, okay, this one I can take. Play E6 if I would like. I think E6 is the right move here. But I would also like to keep stuff. Like, he's super cornered. Has no squares. Okay, what the hell? I just play it. Now I castle. And if he takes here, I can play bishop here, bishop f3, and then bishop d5. And I'm attacking this rook right now, but I'm also threatening this one. Okay, so I win the basically a rook. And if he plays knight f6 or something like that, I take and play queen d8. Just cut out the game and take everything away. Okay, game is over. Let's look at the analysis of this game. And I'll read all these comments. Stop making me laugh like that. Oh, there was a sacrifice. So computers says it's okay the way I played. There was one inaccuracy. I think that was like b3 on second move, or no, it's knight f3. It doesn't like knight f3 for some reason. Okay, we will look at the game. What I want to quickly look at the chat. Blah 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 blah. Rook g1 blah 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 blah. Okay, so let's look at this one quickly. So as I said, the d6 move, careful, careful. He wants to play the V shape, and this is generally speaking a very good idea to play against the bishop b2 setups, because the bishop gets blocked. There are several ideas where this is also applied. For example, if you look at the Sicilian, and sometimes people play b3, and I say in the Sicilian in general, if your opponent fianchettos the bishop, oppose it, play g6 as well. That will be in the new course that will come out in a few weeks. That will be my recommendation for black. And here, for example, is also something along those lines. If we just look at the database, this was also played. And very often the funny thing is people play this like a king's Indian with f4 to activate the bishop on b2. This is just to point it out, it's an idea here. But of course with a knight on f3 this doesn't work. Just to illustrate, this opening idea here can also be found in other openings. So e3 and e5, knight to c3 was played, and yeah, as you can see here, here's a game missing, unfortunately. There is the game between Rapport and Hikaru Nakamura, where Nakamura played the correct move with knight f6. Unfortunately, it's not in the database. And if you look in the lead chess database, there's another curiosity. Oh jeez, oh jeez, it was me. I played this all this time. All these games are from me. I lost all of them, and every single game was an excellent position for me. That's frustrating, but doesn't change the evaluation of the opening. It's great. Just please be a bit more smart. Like Pascal played it as well. The funny thing is, Pascal and I play this variation, and we basically contribute at least 50% of the games in this line. So yeah, it's a little bit sad, but as I said, it doesn't change the evaluation. It's playable, and I got always good positions. It was my own shortcoming that ruined the game, and it was not the result of the opening. One really has to say that this is better training you get from most grandmasters for 50 euros per hour. So you have the whole of Team Scania playing this opening. Oh, this opening has some more subtleties and ideas which can maybe be shown in some other streams. So knight c3, and he played this inaccuracy, knight c6. As I said, knight f6 is the move to go. And here the idea is, if you misplay this and play d4 too early, takes, and e4. And generally speaking, watch out for this idea. If you have this c5 and e5 idea, those pawns there, and the opponent plays this d4 push, it's very, very often the idea that you take, and push e4. Just keep it in mind. It's a very thematic idea here, and in similar openings, of course. So knight c6 was played, and d4, and here, oh, there are still games of me, and I lost both. That's really sad. But if you look at the games, you will see that my position was great. Unfortunately, misplayed it tactically in 3-minute games. I mean, what gonna do? One guy was Ivan Saric I lost against. Yeah, that was frustrating. So I played Queen A5. That was strange. Computer doesn't hate it for some reason. Yeah, if you take here, takes here, the point is that E4 is not possible. If you look at this one, it was actually played. E1 was played against me, and I just took it. And it was this guy, and he still won the game. And I mean, what can I say? You get a position that it looks like this out of the opening, pawn up, at least +1. What can you ask for more? You cannot ask for more out of the opening. That's just not possible. But you have to drive the point home, which I didn't do, unfortunately. So Queen A5. And here, this very, very funny idea was pointed out, Rook B1. And if he takes here, you play Bishop D2 and win the queen because it's trapped. But, I mean, if he doesn't play Rook takes, I mean, what do you have? Yeah, he played E4, it was not a good move, but I still lost the game because I was stupid. So takes here. What happens if he takes B4? Because the idea is, of course, this doesn't work, but B4 for some reason works because, okay, craziness. But whatever. I played Bishop D2, which was computer recommendation. And yeah, I thought he would start taking here. Like this. Yeah, I wanted to take with the e-pawn, and then I thought he would take here, but I wanted to play knight b5 after that. Computer decrease, queen b6, and I was not sure. It was okay. Don't know. Those pawns look really, really bad. I mean, even if you have a pawn up in those structures, it's terrible. There's a very, very nice joke made from Daniel. You would win last round Hasloch all day with Rook B1. Only in the B group. Only in the B group. If 2600s are so bad, what am I? You overestimate the abilities of some players. You also overestimate my abilities. I'm just telling you what I learned and what I know, and try to give you some pointers. But don't take what I say for like, what do we call this? Like bare Münze, what we say in German. Always think for yourself. So knight f6 and d5. As I said, this is one you can actually believe me. Computers love when you push the pawn forward and play d5 and play those Benoni positions. Oh, he says, I wouldn't fall for it for this queen takes c3 because I wouldn't see that queen takes c3 is legal. Yeah, Nicola, sure. So, yeah, he allowed this d5, I pushed it. And here I just wanted to point out, I had this idea quickly, like takes and attack on the queen, winning a piece. Of course, he would have to play knight a6 then. And I mean, I take those moves, and I don't know what this knight actually is accomplishing there. Oh, I see a very, very nice idea as well. Like bishop e, like, come on. Ah, it's white to move. Like, I play e4 maybe. You go knight c7. I wanted to trick you with knight a4. GG. Trapping the queen. Okay, enough nonsense. Knight e7 and e4. I mean, e4 was played. Sometimes people play like this and argue you can you should exchange pieces, but let me just say, black has pace disadvantage, and I would just keep some pieces and make his life a little bit harder. So I played e4, a6. Here I thought if I place bishop g4, I would play bishop b5 check. And yeah, he might play bishop d7. Maybe I retreat and hope I can play h6, h3 or something. But he can of course play like this. And who knows? Maybe I'll play after bishop d7 takes. Might be a better option. Might be one option at least. a6. I don't. The computer says it's okay, and I don't know. Played h3, following the theme of I like if the pawn is not on e4, what white has knight e4 as an option. Yeah, these knight e4 options are also considered. But as I said, there are counterplay options for black. Like I would like to squeeze black, but here, I mean, there is some counterplay. Please check the f4, bishop f6. You're talking a lot. a4 after bishop d7, an idea. Yeah, you mean in this line, with bishop b5, bishop d7, a4. Yes. That's also always an idea. Yes, of course, later. There were options later. Let me just come there. So I played e4, a6, played h3, following the theme. Space disadvantage. I don't want to exchange pieces. Now, if a computer, for example, says play bishop d3, but I don't want to think about like knight to f4 and exchange stuff. So I played g3, which is typical. Remember this theme. It always happens as well with a knight on b6. Control the squares. Control those squares. Bishop e7, absolutely logical. a4, yeah. The thing was, if I play bishop g2 here, he might play b5. That was my issue. That was something I did not like. So I played a4 first, so that after bishop g2 and b5 I would whoops, I could still take. But yes, he could also not play this because of a takes b4 by b5. So okay. So bishop e7, a4, castle short. I played h4, and the idea, I just want to illustrate the idea quickly. It's a very typical idea. You can also try to use new games. h5. Let me show you how pretty this idea is. Knight h8. Now you could probably start with knight h4, but I would prefer play bishop h3. Just show you the idea. Takes. And now like queen c7, I want to play knight h4. And then I want to play knight f5. And that's one big knight on f5. That's a typical idea you can remember. Happens, for example, in these kind of structures. These are the these Benoni structures. Wait a second, was it e4? Was it? Am I playing this correctly? Oh, I'm messing this up. No, I'm making the right moves, I think, so far. And there is this one idea. I think it was queen e2 here. Yes. Let's look at this one. I'm not sure it loads the page. Lord Payne was by the way me, and I invented this queen e2 idea here, which, yes, Lord Payne was 3 years ago. My God. So the story behind this idea is, I was watching this one video of, what was his name? this one grandmaster who is so funny, Feingold. And he always plays this knight maneuver with knight d7, knight f8, knight g6. And I watched this video together with a friend of mine from the same club, and he's a FIDE master, and he was like, bro, I gotta play this opening. Totally, this one opening, I gonna play it. Feingold like showed 3 games, 2 or 3 games, and he was like, yep, I'm gonna play this. No preparation, I just played. And so I had to play in the state championships against him, and I was like, this dude might actually play this idea. Of course, spoiler alert, I drew black in the game, and just played with black against him, not white. But if I had played with white, I want to play this idea. And here you play, as you can see, this one. And we get the same idea as before. Lord Payne account I deleted. I think I started raging in this one because I lost 2 games against the opponent. It was terrible. So, as you can see, this is a super position for white. Yeah, let's just piece up. So go back to the other game. Oh, wait a second, what did I do? I hope this is loading, the page is loading for you. So bishop g4, wait a second. So I played this h4 idea. And another rule of thumb is knight on g6 or knight on g3 for the same matter. I mean, duh. You play h4, you play h5 and push. And here is another thing. If they think they can stop you with some move like h5, respectively for the knight on g3, it's h4, then remember this pawn is always like really dodgy. For example, knight g5 here, and you're like, I'm always gonna look at this pawn, and you've always got to protect the pawn. Like bishop e2 might be coming. You might look at the pawn like maybe you're not gonna take it, maybe you're just gonna grab it. So knight on g6, not good. So h4. Yeah, here bishop h3. I thought he just plays bishop to h5. Ah, I've got rook g1. And the computer says I can take, and play h5 himself. Because this knight g5 and bishop e2 the idea doesn't exist anymore. Okay, knight h2, h5. Then the entire idea worked pretty well. I thought he would grab this one. Yeah, and I was not sure how I would recapture this one, because if I take with a pawn, I get the rook g1, but it looks dangerous, and if I take with a pawn, he might play with f5 eventually. He got to watch out for knight to b5, of course. So he would play like queen d8, and I don't know. I thought bishop g5 in the game was also not a bad idea to exchange those pieces. And now we are at the point where you thought you play f4, like a complete crazy person. Look at this one. Look, oh, he has even bishop takes f4, and I thought bishop f6 in the game. You see this? That's the difference between you and me. You would play completely crazy, and then no, come on. Good takes. So you play knight e4, queen moves. Knight e4, okay. You are opening up the position. Look at the king. Your king is not on b1, it's on e1. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm not a fan of this one. So knight f5 was better. And here takes, and of course he had to take. And this one was what I was not sure. I thought I win the square, but the knight is terrible placed. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. This ending, for example. It's not a great bishop. Let's be real here. It's not a great bishop. But you fix with a5. You might play rook b1, b4. And then these pawns are fixed. It's a complicated game. It's not clear. Not clear at all. But he just blundered a pawn. Yeah, and then it was just completely downhill. Yeah. You remember when you wanted to play like rook g1 here? Yeah, of course it's winning, but I thought he would play something like that. Just wanted to play the knight to e4. Yeah. And then he was just losing. Yeah, I could have also castled long, of course. Yeah, and here, nothing to do.